Does the truth matter? It's a question I've been wondering the past few days as I was calling out a certain fraudster from Israel. Don't even want to say his name at this point, but it leads to a bigger question about how the American Jewish community interacts with Israel and how Israel herself interacts with the truth. October 7th was vicious, brutal, unspeakable horrors, absolute brutality, unimaginable brutality. In the hours, or really minutes, after Hamas entered Israel, there were grotesque videos circulating that continued to circulate weeks, months, years later. We're now 2 years and change after that horrific day. There were also certain things that were said and shared that were simply not true, some even emanating from Hamas and people that were almost fantasizing that they were doing even sicker things to Jewish people that were innocently sleeping in their beds. But the question is, does the truth matter? And I don't know if the answer is yes. Does it matter what actually happened and what didn't happen? Does it matter if certain testimonies are not factual? And there might be some very good reasons for false testimony. For example, there are certain survivors from Nova that have extreme PTSD and probably started speaking too soon. I'm not sure the extent of how clear they were when they first appeared on television. It's a highly traumatic event. My larger question is, does it matter? Does the truth matter? This isn't to minimize what Hamas did. What Hamas did was horrendous. But the question is it important to have correct stories, correct heroes, and have a glimpse of what actually happened? And the reason I ask is because I think it's extremely important, certainly in Holocaust education and the education of major catastrophic events, that you have good, detailed accounts of what's going on. Obviously, there hasn't been an official investigation from the Israeli government. The army investigation was largely a play-by-play that's kept confidential and leaked to the media on occasion. But there hasn't really been a clarification of exactly what happened. That, coupled with the fact that the collective state of mind in the modern media is not one in which people are revisiting stories. They see something on Telegram, they see something on Instagram, they see something on TikTok, and they kind of leave it be. So how many of those stories went around that were not true? How many of the stories that are true have people not heard? I don't want to go into specific organizations or people, but there's plenty of times where when I have called attention to someone who said something that was not true, people are extremely shocked. People lost sleep over the idea of how horrendous something may or may not have been. And I don't know the answer. It's a question I think is worth considering. And I'm myself considering it now as I see the pushback from calling out bad actors. And the same goes for nonprofits. Is it important that a nonprofit does what it says it is setting out to do? When they present themselves as being a vital part of Israeli society, or if they're claiming to reach X number of people, is it important that that nonprofit actually does that? Does the greater Jewish world care that the information being spread is truthful? It may be one thing to write it in a philosophy book, but I really have no idea. And I'm sure this isn't a foreign concept to any other minority community. I can only speak from the experience I have with the Jewish community. So does it matter if there's excess waste? Does it matter if nonprofits are playing fast and loose with facts? Does it matter if there are material misrepresentations of what a nonprofit achieved? I don't know. To me, it bothers me, but I can't speak for everybody else. And I think it's worth considering. The point of this video is for people to consider whether or not it's a principle that should be important. Is it important for speakers when they get up to have credibility? Or are we more interested in the feeling that they allow us to feel? I really don't know the answer, just asking the question.